go ahead and take a look. We will turn this off, and now we're going to go ahead and see what happens during those shape collisions. Bang! You can see the deformations just wasting these guys. Huge amounts of deformation. You can see this great effect we get here is it just kind of eats away the sides. So remember, the reason that this is happening like this, and we're going to go ahead and play with these settings to see what it is, but the maximum depth on this is pretty deep. It's 10, so it's going ahead, and every time one of these bluish particles, projectiles, hits them, it's going to cause a severe kind of denting to happen. Let's go ahead and set that maximum depth to 3, and we'll leave the radius as it is, and we want to see what happens. So now it doesn't dent as much, but you can see, especially here in this one, where this one particle has hit, it spreads out over a radius of 10. Let's go ahead and actually, let's get our view under control. Let's go ahead and actually set that radius down a little bit to maybe 5, and we'll see that now it doesn't dent outward, the diameter of the denting, it doesn't spread so far. And we get a very different kind of look here now. Let's go ahead and we're going to increase our max timeline to 600 frames. So we continue to see repeated denting here. Something very important to know about this denting is that there is ever only really a maximum depth. You can kind of see that this surface here is starting to flatten out here at this depth. The reason for that is this maximum depth is not like a per hit. It won't continue to dent deeper and deeper and deeper. This defines the maximum depth overall for these objects that are being dented. It defines their maximum depth that a denting will occur. So you can see as we get further and further out there. One of the ways that we can kind of simulate that repeated denting over and over is to we're going to set our maximum depth. We'll set it to 20, but then we're going to change our impulse threshold. And we'll set this to 2 just to see what happens. This is going to take a little bit of experimenting. We're actually also going to unhide our emitter sphere, and we're going to go ahead and kind of focus him so that he shoots directly at one of these guys out here. We'll make him shoot at that big pink kind of squished cylinder. And let's come back in and change our velocity. We want maybe an angle variation of 1. And let's go ahead then and we'll hide our targets. We can go ahead and hide that, and we'll leave our emitter plane there. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and scrub and start to see that, well, we do get quite a bit of denting right here. Our threshold, let's come up to the targets. Our impulse threshold is going to have to be higher to prevent them from denting too soon. Still, let's go higher. Let's try 100. Oops. Okay, so now we know 100 is kind of a top end. We're not going to get any denting at that point. Let's try 70. You know what, something else, let's take the velocity of these guys and let's give them a higher variation in velocity. Okay, still nothing. Let's go ahead and take targets. Let's set their impulse threshold to 50. Okay, still nothing. So it's going to be a little bit of a, hunting to find what the good values are that you want. And what we can kind of see happening in here is one of these guys has hit and caused a really deep dent right away. He was going really fast. And we have another dent up here, this one, which does not have as much speed, but it does get over this threshold. And so it doesn't dent the full maximum depth. It just dents kind of a partial depth because the impulse threshold, it was met, but it wasn't going very fast. And so that dent effect is going to be less. Let's get this under control here. But you can see over time those dents do build up and push further. Let's go ahead and lower that impulse threshold again a little bit. We want to go ahead and get more denting to occur. And so you can see it does kind of build up over time there. Let's get this. Let's create a helper object out here so we can navigate a little easier. Okay. So this way, the denting doesn't all go to the extreme right away. It's going to be based on the velocity and the mass of these projectiles. So this is particle deformation. It's a really incredible effect. You can do some great things, especially with things like crashing vehicles. You can set all their fragments to be deforming, and this will add a whole bunch of extra shape variation and of course deformation to those. It's a great effect and it's a very powerful tool. You do have to watch out. It does add some CPU calculation in here, so if you're going to fragment 10,000 particles, you should be prepared to take basic steps in the beginning to see how those things are going to affect. Maybe start off with 100 particles, see if the effect looks right. So just be smart about your calculation times. Okay, so that's particle deformation.